Greeting, colleagues. My name is Delphine Gervais. I am a licensed clinician. I bring you greetings on behalf of myself and my colleague, Belinda Gordon-Battle. We are Just Be the Breakthrough, and tonight you're joining us for Just Be the Breakthrough Live, Mental Health Professionals Webinar, where healers are reminded that we ourselves need healing too. On tonight, we are giving ourselves the opportunity to sit back, to allow others to bring remembrance of priorities, remembrance of what's important to us, remembrance that we can just be to allow the breakthrough that's necessary. On this month, Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, on a month that reminds us day in and day out that the work is indeed hard, that we can do hard things, that we are resilient people, and that we can endure, can also sit in company with reminders that we should rest, we should just be, we should celebrate, and we should remind ourselves that we deserve. So tonight, there are going to be many that will share, and we hope that it will be impactful to any who are here with us. I want us to take a moment to take a deep breath and allow the day to temporarily be right at the door, taking a seat, taking a back seat. Belinda, would you join me in sharing some additional words? Unmute.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here and have the opportunity to be with colleagues that share a fundamental understanding of what it means to be a clinician, a healer in our community, and to take a moment to pay homage to one of our very own, Cinnamon Key. So I want to make sure that we call all the elders of the villages, the mamas, the babas of wisdom, the sacred keepers of spirit and medicine. Come sit with us, walk with us in this virtual circle with grace and power. Touch our shoulders as you once did in the sacred groves of our motherland. Whisper into our ears the old knowing that healing is not a task, it is a rhythm, it is a calling, it is a covenant. To those who carry the burdens of many, the ones who listen deep, who translate pain into purpose, who stand in the fire and still make room for joy, we honor you. You, the mind menders, the soul gods, the griots of grief, the holder of tears that aren't yours. May your spirits be washed. May your hands be strengthened. May your sight be sharpened. May your peace be guarded. We ask the ancestors to breathe life back into our bones. Fill our hearts with the laughter of our grandmothers. Place the rhythm of the drum back in our step. Remind us that we are never alone in this work, that every session, every word, every silence is braided with ancestral light. Let healing come not just from what we know, but who we are. Let the healing waters circle back to the healer. Ashe, ashe, ashe.
So for this evening, each colleague, each person that is here will speak. They will introduce themselves and they will bring some token of learning, refreshment to our souls. And so sit back. I'm trusting that everyone has a favorite beverage, has a favorite snack, and that we are just going to settle in for our time together. But before we do that, Belinda, so we wanted to share a little bit about who we are. Belinda and I met back in 2014. Yeah, 2014 here in South Florida, in the South Florida area. We were just two colleagues in a new role, in a new space, walking to lunch together and realizing we had so much more in common, especially because the space that we were in didn't necessarily lend to familiarity. And I'm sure we all know what that's about. Yes. But we gravitated towards each other, and the rest has been history. Through a space that we are no longer in, through many different obstacles, challenges, wins, successes, we have always managed to find ourselves on some particular project or other. This one came as a result of working on a project back in 2020, and we will share more about Cinnamon Key, our late loved one, our colleague who made this more meaningful. It was a shared experience that birthed out of this something that says that we have to make sure that we are taking care of our own, taking care of ourselves. There's something to be said about being a BIPOC clinician, because many of us have lived the experiences of our clients. Our burden for our clients looks different. And so we have to remember to take care of ourselves. So some of these photos are reminders, whether it was a brunch that we hosted on Miami Beach, whether it was a seminar of sorts at a different location, all for the purpose of making sure that we remind ourselves to prioritize our wellness, to acknowledge our peers, to nurture each other, and to network. So without further ado, we will go straight into our presentations for this evening.
Good evening, everyone. I am Lucretia Folks. You will notice that my credentials at the end of my name may not be an MSW or an LSW, but I've been a social worker by spirit and through spirit for some while now, and my company's called Rooted in Love and Truth. Believing tomorrow will outshine today. I am sure that many of us have gone through those days where it seems like the clouds will just not go away. And when those moments happen in life, we have either relied on other people to help us see the brightness in the day, but we don't always rely on ourselves to know that tomorrow can be brighter than today. And if we keep believing those things, it will guide us through to sunshine, to brightness, to light, to rainbows and flowers along the river, sitting under that tree during the summertime with watermelon and family reunions happening. When you find that joy in your tomorrow and keep finding that joy, you will definitely have a period of time where tomorrow will outshine today. In this moment, we are going to go into a brief meditation, and I just want you to get as comfortable as you can, relax in your seat, and just take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out of your mouth. Breathing in through your nose and then out of your mouth. Breathing in through your nose and blow it out of your mouth like you're blowing out of a straw this time. Feeling your body relax in this moment. Lowering your shoulders from your ears. Facing your palms up to receive the energy and power you need in this moment. To know that your tomorrow will outshine today. Whether you're dealing or having had to deal with people around you, family, friends, colleagues, as well as clients that are facing so much in their lives, you hold on to what they are going through. And in this moment, we are going to breathe through a release, breathing in through your nose and kind of huff it out and feel that energy release. Breathing in through your nose and huff it out of your mouth. Letting go of some of those things that we carry naturally when we deal with clients, when we walk through life in general, especially in these moments that we are going through, not only in South Florida, but throughout the rest of the country as well. My affirmations today for all of us, it's on the screen. I am going to read what's on the screen, and then I will repeat it with I. And when I repeat it with I want you in your body, in your present, out loud, however comfortable you feel in this moment, to repeat the I statements. Taking a deep breath in and just letting it out. You do not have a spirit of fear. I do not have a spirit of fear. You walk in life with immense power, truth, and confidence. I walk in life with immense power, truth, and confidence. You speak, show, and move in love. I speak, show, and move in love. You wake up and go to bed with the sound mind and peace. I wake up and go to bed with a sound mind and peace. That is the gift you give to yourself. Thank you for your time and attention, and may your tomorrow outshine today.
Mute, Rashad.
My bad. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rashad Pearson. I'm a licensed professional counselor and certified sex offender treatment provider here in Virginia. I want to take the opportunity to thank you all for being able to speak to you all just in regards to being in a system that's designed against us. So a lot of times that we face like microaggressions, being at work, being flaunted in front of people to say that we have these BIPOC individuals, but we're not respected. So I just want to take the time out to encourage us all to just take some time out, some moments throughout our days to practice using radical acceptance, to understand that while these systems we often practice in were not designed with us in mind, we're not the face that they envision when they think of resilience, perseverance, determination, and or success, but that is who we are. We have demonstrated that over the years. No matter what we faced, we always come out stronger on the other end. And even with that in mind, we don't have to diminish who we are as individuals to make those around us comfortable. You playing down to the level or below others does not improve the team or society's performance. So I just want you all to take that piece with you. And thank you again. I'm Rashad.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Renee Monet. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm also a licensed perinatal mental health counselor. I focus on supporting women and men and families in becoming parents, as well as learning just how to navigate pregnancy and pregnancy loss. And I'm based in North Carolina, but I work all over the world, and I enjoy the work that I do. I usually post under the name Dr. Renee Speaks. So today, I'll give you a trigger warning. I'm going to be talking a little bit about grief, and I will be using satire and truth to explore how grief can look. I use humor to heal, and I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I invite you to join me in just listening. So, how healers RSVP for grief can be different. My father passed away earlier this year, and I kept telling myself, I'll take some time to grieve. And just like trying to be a good therapist, I said I was going to use all the tools that I normally give out. What are the things that we say as therapists? Take all the time you need. Take a break. Give yourself grace, right? Listen to your body, and it's okay to say no. And also find ways to honor your loved one, right? But death is highly inconvenient. People never pass away when you have free time or planned time off. It's always in the midst of everything. So I pinned my RSVP for grief, and I planned to take that time to grieve when my schedule cleared up, when the world paused, when my inbox was empty, when my caseload was light. But a therapist's calendar never lets up, and mine actually glitched. So grief itself is even more inconvenient. It's the RSVP that you cannot decline or pin. It doesn't call ahead. It does not send a save the date. So I tried to plan my grief like you would schedule a hair appointment, okay? So I said, hey, grief, I'd like to schedule an appointment with you Tuesday at 4 p.m. I'll be ready. Okay, sure thing, love. You want the same thing as last time? Sure, girl. I think that'll be cool, but, put a little razzle dazzle on it. And she says, you want to keep them guessing? Mm-hmm, keep them guessing. Because you know what? I can't let them see me down, right? I tried to schedule like a hair appointment, but my RSVP was already checked in. I just didn't know it yet. So grief showed up on my doorstep, unannounced and uninvited. I tried not to answer. She was loud at first, no manners, no chill. She even showed up with emotional bags and a carry-on. I tried to ignore her, but she slid into my late night doom scrolling. She popped up in commercials. She snuck into my silence and shouted in my dreams. She decided to make her own schedule, and she started sitting with me in sessions. She came when I was coaching others through their storms, and she whispered to me, she said, sis, when is it your turn? So our bodies and our subconscious will naturally work to express grief as an emotion one way or another through our tears or headaches, sometimes body aches or irritability, behavior changes. The emotion of grief has to be expressed. She has to be acknowledged and managed. Otherwise, she's going to show up at the most inconvenient times. It could be awkward encounters in the pet store when you're just trying to check out and you start crying in front of a stranger named Todd. And he just wants to check out and go take his dog to the vet. He doesn't have time to listen to your tears. But as therapists, we know that grief can be unpredictable and it can be tidal. Sometimes I think I'm ready for the wave, and then she rescinds. And when I think I have finally reached the shore, here comes the waves crashing in. Some days I need one tissue. Other days, I need a whole Costco box. Nowadays, I just sit with the tissue box in my lap, welcoming the tears. And that's okay. Because being a therapist does not mean that I get to bypass all these different processes. It just means I know how to talk about it. I know how to help others process through it. But I try to do it for myself while actively trying to survive it. It means I'm still human. It means even if I'm a healer, I have to answer when grief knocks. Our bodies will tell us if we don't cry out, our backs may start to get knots. If we don't speak it, our skin is going to break out. If you won't grieve, your soul might just cry out. And it's going to force you to learn the truth and know the truth. because grief in all her persistence, she must be known, she must be felt, and she must be heard. So let us all remember, make that real space for ourselves, give grace to ourselves, take the time when grief shows up at the door, listen to her. Let your tears come and flow, they're sacred, and let your breakdowns be brilliantly human. Thank you. I'm Dr. Renee Speaks.
Good evening. My name is Janadra Pugh. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor, and I'm the owner of Growing New Potential Counseling. I provide telehealth therapy sessions for adults, and I'm licensed in the states of Maryland and Virginia. In her song, Bag Lady, neo soul singer Erykah Badu says, "Bag lady, you gon' hurt your back, dragging all them bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you all you must hold on to is you, is you, is you." While the context of this metaphorical track is to evaluate the emotional baggage we carry from relationship to relationship and heal, as a mental health therapist, I often find myself playing this song, not necessarily because I have emotional baggage from a relationship, but as a reminder to self-evaluate, self-reflect, and to cut a two-step after long days of sessions. As healers, therapists, and social workers, we can extract a few gems for reflection and restoration from this track. The first gem: we must be mindful of the weight we are carrying. As clinicians, we are trained to hold space for others. Daily, we sit in discomfort, we navigate conflict, we provide insight, we offer diagnoses, and Lord knows we produce an extensive amount of documentation, whether it's case notes or treatment plans. Many of us wear multiple hats, whether they are personal or professional. While our roles grant us that deep access to the lives of others, I invite us to pause and reflect on the weight we may be carrying outside of our own professional identities. How are we doing mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, and even relationally? When was the last time in which you checked in on you? The second gem that we extract from this track is self-care is a holistic act. As healers, self-care means intentionally creating a space for mind, body, soul alignment. It looks like rest, nourishing foods, spiritual grounding, authentic connection, and the courage to set and honor boundaries. Sometimes it even means giving ourselves permission to disconnect from the world around us and reconnect to ourselves. Because at the end of the day, caring for others starts with how well we care for ourselves. And the last gem is know when to let it go. My favorite part of Erykah Badu's Bag Lady song is when she sings, "Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go." Because it allows me permission to realize that I have to let some things go, just like we all do. So let's begin to normalize releasing, whether it's a case, people, jobs, responsibilities, relationships, anything else that no longer aligns with who we are and where we are going. In the profound words of my therapist, what do you need to let go of to make room for? I offer you full permission to set the bags of life down. Let them go or empty them. Step away from the constant doing and allow yourself the space to tend to your whole self, beyond your profession, beyond your titles, and beyond your to-do list, because you deserve care too. Therapists, social workers, healers, caretakers, pack light. Wishing you much love, light, and care as you continue to do the heavy but necessary work of healing. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Janadra. And before we move on to our next colleague, we wanted to bring in a friend of ours, a mental health ally in the community. Mr. Berwick Augustin is a dynamic author, keynote speaker, and educational consultant who works with individuals and organizations to amplify their cultural diversity and effectiveness. A son of Haitian parents, born in the South Florida area. He brings with him so many different things, but most importantly, he is a good friend of Belinda and I. Audiences continue to delight in his practical strategies. On this evening, Berwick is going to bring us some thoughts from his creative mind. Berwick?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to share a piece with you guys that I penned on the page that remembers. Writing is more than words. It is self-rescue. Some see it as a task. I see it as a mirror. And some days it's the only mirror that I trust. When life gets loud and when emotions knot themselves into things you can't name, when you've poured into everyone else but forgotten your cup, journaling becomes your seat at the table of your well-being. And the beautiful truth, you don't need fancy notebooks or perfect grammar. You just need presence. Journaling clarifies chaos, slows my thoughts, spreads them on page until I can finally see. And once I see, I can breathe. It preserves my progress, proof that I've grown, evidence that I've survived, things that I thought would break me. It gives my emotions a voice, without fear, without judgment. Some truth I can't say out loud, but the page listens when the world won't. And a word that teaches us to care for everyone but ourselves. Writing is a quiet rebellion. It is the moment you whisper, I matter enough to listen to myself. So whether you're a poet or a parent, a student or a soul in search of healing, write. Write your peace. Write your sanity. Write for your freedom. Because sometimes the page is the only place that remembers who you are when the world forgets. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, Berwick.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Bowers. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I am a school social worker at one of the local high schools here in Broward County in South Florida. What I'm going to bring to you today is just a mini segment of my session that I call The Healer's Truth, an honest talk on boundaries, burnout, and becoming. However, what we're going to learn today is how to ground ourselves. What does grounding mean to you? What grounds you when everything else feels unstable? Because it can feel that way. Grounding practice is the act of bringing attention to the present moment. We've all heard of being intentional, being present, stop what you're doing, limit your screen time, things of that nature. But what we're going to do is we're going to use our 5 senses. And so this can be physical, sensory, and emotional. And we're going to do what we call grounding technique. And the grounding technique that we're going to learn today is the 5-4-3-2-1 aspect of it. And what this does, it can help you, it can help your clients, it can help a family member. It reduces the anxiety and the traumatic feelings that a person has while tapping into the nervous system. So one question that I have for you today is, what exactly grounds you? Now, you could think about that, you can hold on to that, write it down, but just take it with you. What grounds you in grounding? So this is a bit of a reflection, okay? I have one other quote because I want you to understand why we're all here as well. And Bell Hooks said, "Rarely, if ever, are any of us healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion, which is what we're doing today. We are communing with one another. We need one another. We heal one another." Okay, so that is a quote from Bell Hooks. And the purpose of this activity or exercise of the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding is to distract from our fears, our unwanted memories, offering a way to control unhelpful anxiety responses. And it also assists in pulling out of a frozen or a detached state, enabling a clearer thinking and decision making. And that is from the Johns Hopkins University. So if you would, let's try it. Please sit up straight. And again, we're going to start with the breathing technique that we did earlier. So we're going to take a deep breath in through our nose, and we're going to breathe out through our mouth. You can close your eyes for this, or you can soften them. But breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And if you just listen to me and what I'm going to go through, I want you to name silently in your head 5 things that you can see. That's why you can either close your eyes, you can gaze a little bit, you can have some type of recall. 4 things that you can touch. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. And again with me, take it in a deep breath. And out with your mouth. Take in a deep breath with your nose. And out with your mouth. This sort of exercise prevents discomfort. It also honors your private emotions. Nobody has to know what you're thinking. Nobody has to know what you're smelling, tasting, hearing. This keeps you in a calm space. You could do this activity by yourself, like I said, with your colleagues, with your kids. But I also want you to always return to self in a closing thought that you may have, but a good thought. A good thought. And I want to leave you with another quote from another famous person that I love, that I cherish, and I'm glad she was a part of a lot of our lives. And that's the 44th First Lady of the United States. And she said, "Am I good enough? Yes, I am." So I want you to remember that. I want you to take that with you tonight. Am I good enough? Yes, I am. Take those grounding techniques, the 5-4-3-2-1. Ground yourself. And thank you for coming out tonight. Have a good one.
Showtime. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mr. Blair Alexander Faust. I am a psychotherapist. I'm a school counselor. I'm also a minister. So I'm going to sing a little bit for y'all if y'all don't mind. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. And I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. See, Lean on Me. I watched that movie as a kid growing up, and that was always something that just stuck with me because why? No matter how strong you get, you're gonna always have a time when you start. I'm mute. I got muted for half a second. No matter how strong you get, you're gonna always have a time where you may have to start leaning on somebody else. So the point of the matter is, when you are a healer, you need some healing as well because it's taking on a lot of secondary stress when you're dealing with clients on a day-to-day basis. Vicarious trauma, it can overwhelm you, it can consume you, right? So it takes courage, right, to be able to say, well, in this dark time, in this place of discomfort, who can I probably seek some light from, right? See, this is where you have to use your discernment to say, well, who can I trust that won't judge me, that I can call on and say, you know what, brother, I'm going through it right now. See, I was invited here today through my licensed clinical social worker, Mr. Jay Asserman, and he was able to invite me here because he understands I have a real passion for being able to talk and help people understand that we all have times where we go through things and we just need somebody to talk to. Talk therapy is really the best way of getting out some of the things that's in your head. It's like brainstorming. A friend can rebuke you, you know. So when you got people that's in your corner that know you well, you can call on them and you talk to them and they can let you know, hey, I think, you know, maybe you might be a little too hard on yourself right now, right? Or maybe you might need to take a little break and take some time to yourself. When you have the courage to say, it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to have a burnout. You see, people get burned out because you're so passionate. When you come in with so much passion, it can just drain you. So you got to be able to balance everything that's going on and say, you know what? I think I need to take some time to myself. See, self-care is not selfish. So, right? Go ahead and go on that vacation. It'll be okay. Go ahead and reschedule for a time where you feel more comfortable and more at peace with yourself. If you need to take some time to say, you know what, I'm going to go outside and sit in the sun for a few minutes, do some meditation, sing a song you like, listen to some music. That's what you got to do because you have to be able to find a way to self-regulate your emotions. You can stretch yourself thin by just allowing people to pull and pull and pull. It's almost like you're a cup and then you're just trying to pour into others, but you have nothing left to give. You got to be able to pour into yourself more so you can pour into others. It's almost like soothing of the soul. When someone comes to you and they're crying, you rock their presence and you take them in your hands like a baby and you rock them. But even a mother need a break. Even a father need a break. It takes a village to raise a child, and everybody has an inner child in them. You got to be able to say, you know what? No matter how grown I feel, today I feel like a little baby. I just want to be held. I am encouraging everybody, take that time to say, you know what? Although I am Superman or Superwoman, I have that cape on, I have that hat on. Let me go ahead and take that off, put it on the rack, and I'll be back to it tomorrow. It's strength and having support. Again, my name is Mr. Blair Alexander Faust. It is a pleasure to come and speak with everybody tonight, and I hope that everybody has a blessed day, a blessed night. Continue to carry on. Amen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me, Belinda and Delphine. I appreciate your leadership. I am a licensed clinical social worker. And what I wanted to do today is share with you one of my favorite books. But you will need some supplies for my part of the discussion tonight. So what you will need is your journal and a pen or pencil, as well as some calming music. So whatever music you like, it can be gospel music or just instrumental. You can choose. Okay, and I'm going to read to you, and then I'm going to ask you to write in your journal if you would like. If you don't feel like it, that's okay. You can just listen. But for my part of the discussion, what we're going to be working on is success strategies. So coping with stress, but a little bit more than just coping, but success. A success strategy is what I would like each of us to walk away with today. All right, so the name of the book is The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. There are the 21 pseudo laws of leadership, and I'm only going to review 5 because I know I only have 5 minutes with you tonight. Okay, so give you about a moment. Make sure you have your calming music on, and just remember this is a healing space and not a training. So what you want to do is just have that moment to yourself with the calming music and your journal. Okay. All right. So the first law that I wanted to share with you is the 14th law. And I will also give you an example of what I'd like you to write in your journal. Okay. So the first one is the 14th law, and this is the law of buy-in. And it says people buy into the leader, then the vision. So an example of applying this to either our professional walk or personal would be, okay, I plan on becoming a better therapist by reading new counseling books this year, would be my example. So you can write any example you want. And again, you're going to apply the law to your professional or your personal journey, completely up to you. All right. So I'll go ahead. I'll repeat the first one, and then I'll continue on with the next 4. The law of the buy-in. People buy into the leader, then the vision. So just one sentence and apply it to your personal journey or professional. Okay. And the next one I chose is law 17, and that is the law of priorities. Leaders understand that activity is not necessarily accomplishment. Let me check and make sure I got that right because I wrote it down. Yeah. Leaders understand that activity is not necessarily accomplishment. So go on ahead and apply that to your daily walk, just one sentence. And I hope you're listening to some calming music, whatever you like, jazz, gospel, instrumental. Okay. I'll move on to the third law I chose, which is 15. This one is the law of victory. Leaders find a way for the team to win. Leaders find a way for the team to win. If you are talking about your professional journey and it's just you, maybe in private practice, team, you can refer to you and a client, or maybe you and some of your coworkers. If you're talking about your personal journey, maybe it's you and your family. Leaders find a way for the team to win. Okay. The next one is law number 5, the law of addition. Leaders add value by serving others. The law of addition. Leaders add value by serving others. It's a law of service. And again, you're listening to calming music right now, and you're thinking about how you want to apply this law to your personal journey, your professional journey. And nobody has to know. Nobody's going to ask. This is going in your personal journal. And it's okay if you don't have the answers right now, if you're not sure what you want to write. But the idea is for you to know that you are worthy to have a success strategy. You're worthy to have a plan for now and also for the future. Okay. The final law that I would like to share with you is Law 21, and that is the law of legacy. A leader's lasting value is measured by succession. A leader's lasting value is measured by succession. So my example I used here is I will remember the future is ahead of me as I focus on the present. All right. So again, this is the book. And if it's something you wanted to read more about, you can find it on Amazon or any local library, Barnes & Noble. It's an older book, but I really like it. And again, there are the 21 laws. We went through 5 today. Thank you so much for your time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Talina McGee Pendleton, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, a part-time therapist for specialized therapeutic foster children, and I am also a proud Zumba instructor. So I'm going to transform and put on my favorite Zumba hat to get into my presentation. All right, so I'm no longer the clinician. I am the instructor now, okay? And I want to share how cultivating our inner talents, especially in spaces outside of our clinical role, even on this webinar tonight, how it's important for us in order to heal, energize us, and ultimately make ourselves better for the communities that we serve. So for starters, we're more than our titles. As clinicians, it's very easy to be seen often as that healer, the container, the strong one. And over time, we tend to over-identify with that title. But beneath that, we're all creatives, we're all gifted, and we all have talents that we need to be able to tap into. So for me, that talent is movement and rhythm. And through Zumba, I'm able to do what I love outside of work, and it brings me joy and it relieves stress. So others may see Zumba as just a dance class, but it's a healing space because I always tell my students, whatever you're going through outside of these 4 walls at the gym, or if we're at a park, wherever we are, I want you to leave it there and have this moment for you. And sometimes that moment, that 60 minutes is the only time that they have for themselves, but I want them to really tap into that time and that self-care for themselves. I also encourage them to relieve stress and, most importantly, feel alive, because when you move your body, doing those powerful movements, you're speaking. In our field, we speak all the time, we verbalize, but with Zumba, I don't have to speak sometimes. I can do this 2 times to the left, 2 times to the right. Something's coming up. I can talk using nonverbal cueing, and I don't even have to use my voice, but I do because I like to talk and I like to have fun. But the mental and emotional labor that we have in our daily lives can be a lot. So moving our body is very necessary. Next, we model what wholeness looks like. When we give ourselves permission to move and to have joy. We can also give our clients permission to move and have joy. We're saying that healing looks like dancing, healing looks like laughing, healing looks like sweating and having a good time and taking up space. So when we talk about self-care, we have to be the model. We have to live out loud. And we can do that through our passions to make it real and to make it relatable. I just had a client last weekend who said she was getting back into fitness. And I was like, oh my God, that's a good thing. I encouraged her and I said, when I'm done on this call, I'm actually going to teach a Zumba class. And she said, oh my God, I want to try Zumba. And I guess what? I encouraged her to, because that is also who I am as an instructor. Next, reclaiming our identity. Zumba reminded me that I'm not just a professional. I'm a person. I'm a creative. I'm an expressive person. I'm a whole human. So I invite you to ask yourself, what passion or gift have I put on the back burner? What space could I enter that would make me feel like me again? And call to action. I encourage each of you to reconnect with a dormant talent or interest that you have. Each one of us, we have something else outside of the work that we do, whether it's gardening, whether it's doing poetry, singing, spoken word, baking, cooking. Take that class, join that group, pick up a hobby. Let joy be a non negotiable part of your healing too. Because when we're full, our work can come from a place of abundance, not depletion. And last but not least, whether it's dancing, painting, poetry, gardening, I want you to find your Zumba. Even if you don't actually take a Zumba class, find your Zumba, because your light outside of the therapy room matters just as much as your presence inside of it. Thank you.
Belinda.
Good evening again. Thank you to all of our panelists who shared information that we can all utilize in our day-to-day worlds to take care of ourselves, but also to continue to take care of others. It's really important for us to keep in mind that the world that we live in brings a lot of emotions. And so we want to be able to put those things into perspective and be able to take care of ourselves to the best of our ability. One of the reasons, as Delphine mentioned earlier, and I think I also mentioned that we decided to come together for just Be the Breakthrough, was based on the loss of our dear colleague and friend, Cinnamon Key. Her mother is here with us today, but I wanted to take a moment and welcome Miss Betty Key, Mrs. Betty Key. So beautiful, so good to see you again. Thank you for being here. I wanted to tell our story for a second, and Delphine has a different story on how she met Cinnamon, and I'll get her to share that in a moment. But I moved to Miami in 2012. I met Delphine in 2014. And over the years, people would say to me, do you know Cinnamon? And of course, that name resonates with you. And I would say, no, I don't know Cinnamon. And they would say, oh, you do the same work. You have a similar aesthetic, a similar look, kind of feel like each other. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And I did not meet Cinnamon until COVID. We were locked into a class together. And every time the instructor said, oh, we have to break into small groups, she and I would scamper into a group together and kind of like tell other people, don't come in here because we got to talk. And we would spend moments together just talking. And once we met, I think we pretty much talked or text every day until we were unable to do that. And I really appreciate how she poured into the community. And this is in South Miami. She poured into this community because she knew there was a need. And she poured into other clinicians and encouraged other clinicians to build their practices and meet the needs of our community. But she also said we have to take care of ourselves. So this is one of the reasons why we want to make sure we tap into caring for our community, taking care of ourselves, embracing each other and encouraging each other, because it was so important to Cinnamon, a beautiful person and a beautiful soul. And it's important for us, for Delphine and I, to let her family know that we saw Cinnamon, we heard Cinnamon, and we will continue to share her message every single chance that we get. So with that being said, I'm going to let Delphine share a few words with Cinnamon, and then we're going to hear from Cinnamon's amazing mother, Mrs. Betty Key.
The world we live in is, I believe, less than 6 degrees of separation. I met Cinnamon as a colleague in the Miami-Dade County Public School systems. Our paths would cross in trainings. She was in the South area, I was in the North. And we knew that the work that we would do would always keep us busy in the school system. I still have the messages in my Facebook inbox dating back to 2015 when we were at around the same time studying for licensure. And that's how our professional life was, always checking in on each other, seeing where we were in life. Back then, nothing was on an app. So we were studying off of big binders of books of things that we were studying and trying to attain. And if it wasn't about a book recommendation, it was joining her Inspire Facebook group and all the things that came with being colleagues. We get so caught up in the things of the work, and Cinnamon was no different because of the passion that she had for the South Miami community and for everyone that she came in contact with. Some of our conversations in the latter years was around going into private practice. She had finally left the school system, and I myself had left a few years before. And anybody who knows, when you work in systems, it is those golden shackles that we don't want to leave. But Cinnamon had taken that big leap, and she was out here planning to do great things for the South Miami community. As we know, Cinnamon is now an ancestor. She has gone before us. She has gone to glory. And Belinda and I recognize that the work that she has done in so many lives and the so many stories that are told and untold, seen and unseen, continue to reverberate. And Ms. Betty Key, you raised a beautiful daughter. You imparted so much into her that she was able to give us the overflow from which came to you. And we welcome you to share some things, some thoughts with us tonight.
To Delphine and Belinda, and to all of you who are mental health professionals, I must say, thank you. So many times we hear those words when they're spoken to first responders and armed forces personnel. Thank you for your service. I want to take this time to tell you, I thank you for your service, for your incredible, valuable service. Long before she ever took on the role of a mental health clinician, Cinnamon was my introduction to the vital role that you play in assisting because of her journey. Through her own journey, Cinnamon and I learned that this road is not smooth and straight. It has bumps, it has curves, it has highs, it has lows. But that road led her to realize her calling in life. Mm-hmm. It was to help others heal who were emotionally and mentally distressed, not just survive. She wished and hoped for people to thrive. That was her push. Cinnamon started out as an entrepreneur. As a 12-year-old, Cinnamon had a portfolio. Y'all got it? A portfolio. In her portfolio, she was running actually a store. She had a salon, hair salon, with and she had a plan drawn out with the salon for manicures, pedicures, but you could also go after you got yourself all dolled up to go buy an outfit to go with that, and then go find the jewelry to go with the outfit, that when you left her one-stop shop, you were ready. She pushed for she pushed for people that she knew to be the best that they could be. And so when she would come across people who were struggling, like, she knew the struggle. She knew what it meant to have to struggle through mental health issues. And she knew where she'd come from. She wanted to help. And so tonight she would have been front and center with you guys, because she believed that the doctor needs a doctor. The doctor needs someone to help. And therefore, she would have been there helping. She had a path, too. I think you all have spoken a little bit about it. Her desire to build a network of Black and Brown professionals in the South Dade area. That's where she, although she knew people from North Broward County and further probably, I don't even know how far she reached, but she lived and breathed in South Dade, and she saw the need there, and she wanted to make sure that that community got the attention they needed. And so one of the things she wanted to do was build a network of professionals. And in order to do that, continue that, she also wanted to develop a pipeline of students in the area of mental health from Barry to come intern into that community so that they could learn about the needs of that community, of the community. And so my baby, she did a lot. She taught me a lot. She taught me a lot. We often talked about, well, she talked, I listened, about her desire for her profession, how she believed and hoped to help those who struggled. I mean, she really did. Struggle, but didn't know how to ask for help. And even if they got to the point of asking for help, couldn't find the help they needed. I remember when she first started out in her business, when she went out on her own, and she started talking with insurance companies, because, hey, you got to find some way to make sure you get paid. She called one insurance company and asked them, okay, so how many Black or brown professionals do you have in mental health in our area? And the lady said, none. She said, you don't have one? The lady said, none. And that then pushed her desire to make sure that this community could have what they needed. And so, as the mother of Cinnamon Jamila Key, whose name, if you translate it, means for us, her family, spicy, spunky, but beautiful Key, I would like to thank you for recognizing her, for her life, her gifts, her compassion, her advocacy, for all of her efforts in this area. And on behalf of the Key for Greatness Foundation, which Cinnamon founded, and in concordance with building a network, I am honored to present a check to the Center for Equitable Access and Treatment of Trauma to support your efforts to change lives, change communities, and subsequently change someone's world. We are proud to support an organization whose work in trauma-related and informed care and equitable healing can truly change lives. Tonight, you talked about supporting each other and yourselves. I'd like to say that Cinnamon was a hugger. And so I would invite you to take all that you've heard tonight and give yourselves a nice big hug. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Key. We appreciate the donation, and also we receive that hug knowing that it's coming from you. it's coming from Cinnamon, it's coming from the Key family. We want to continue our partnership with the family and the foundation. Just Be the Breakthrough is one of the businesses that Delphine and I have together. The Center for Equitable Access and Treatment of Trauma is another one that we have together, but we will definitely be utilizing these funds to meet the needs of our community in mental health, meeting the needs of the clinicians and the registered clinicians and upcoming clinicians, because we know that we have to support each other in this process. So once again, thank you so much for the donation and just thinking about us. And we will continue to be in conversation.
Great. I'm looking forward to it. And I just want to say this. I had heard your names so much, but I'd never met you until at her funeral.
Yeah.
And the hugs I got from you guys at that time still resonate with me. I can still feel them. And I just want you to know that it's in your blood, you guys, what you do. And I thank you for it. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you for letting me share tonight.
Thank you so much. And I also want to just thank Natalie for connecting us.
Yes.
So much. I love that. Delphine?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Key. During our inaugural BIPOC Mental Health Month event back in 2023, the clinicians at the time did an activity where we created, we took words from each one of us to create this poem. And this is a poem that we have taken on as our own to remind ourselves of what we need to do. Tonight, whether you have repurposed to take your breath work more seriously and actually practice what you preach, whether it is going back to an old book that is on your shelf and to remind yourself of some of the irrefutable laws of leadership, whether it is showing up and radically accepting yourself for who you are, despite how others would want you to show up, whether it is RSVPing for grief and recognizing that it is part of life just as surely as living is, whatever it is that you came and whatever it is that you got out of here, we would like to leave you with this poem. Today is my day. I am blessed and thankful. I'm gonna wake up and win every day and be grateful. The past is behind me. The future awaits. I'm gonna step up and step out. The earth aligns with my purpose. I'm going to show up for myself. I'm gonna get out of my head and get out of my way. I'm here for someone. That someone is me. Today is my day. Today is your day. Today is our day. Colleagues, when you log off, we are all going back to our respective spaces and corners in the world. I trust that you will go refreshed, blessed, and with renewed purpose. We ask that at the end of the webinar, there will be a survey. We appreciate in advance your feedback on what this could look like in different iterations in the future. On behalf of Belinda and myself, we thank you for spending time with us this evening. Belinda, any final words from you?
Just everybody take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for spending this hour with us. We appreciate each and every one that was able to join us. We look forward to talking more in the very near future.
Thank you so much.